Hello, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny, and I am here today because there's some things I want to talk about, some things I want to share. And I am a huge lover of YouTube. I am on it every day, most of the day. I think it is such an amazing creation and resource for, all kinds of things in life. I use it anytime I'm curious about something, want to learn something. It's just such a great resource that just regular everyday people can come on here and share their skills, their knowledge, their stories. And, it's just amazing. I have learned so much from YouTube, and I'm just so grateful for it. So I was just to share a little bit about myself. I coming here today because my goals for this video and moving forward with this channel is I really, number one, want to hold myself accountable. I'm on been on a journey my whole life, but now I feel like I'm in a new chapter, a new era where I'm really trying to get healthy. Getting older, 53 years old, about to turn 54. And I want the rest of my life, I want to be able to be as healthy and as active as I possibly can and enjoy. I feel like, I still got many, many years to live, and I want to live my life to the fullest. So I'm on here to help hold myself accountable, number one, and also be an encouragement to others. I'm a woman who has struggled with my weight and body issues for as long as I can remember. And I've gone through different periods of my life where I've been more or less successful in that endeavor. And this past year, it was back in March of 2024, I took a look at myself, and it was not pretty. I found myself, I think I was in just total and complete denial when you just stop looking at the mirror, you stop getting on the scale, the things that we do, and really just thinking that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Coming out of COVID, I think I packed on a lot of pounds, as we all did in COVID, and I bought a bunch of yoga pants and don't even really notice when those are getting tight. But when the yoga pants are getting tight, there's an issue. So I found myself at an unbelievable weight, my highest weight ever, a weight I never thought that was possible. The dreaded over 300 pounds, 305 pounds was my highest weight. And I just decided, you know what, this isn't who I want to be. And what I'm doing is not working. So we got to find something else. And to be honest with you, I've been on a yo-yo diet my whole life. And up and down. I've tried everything. If there's a diet out there, I've probably done it. I've probably lost weight on it and then just continued to gain weight back over the years, as you do. And what I started doing is through YouTube, went back to like a low carb thing, because I did that a lot, especially like in the early 2000s, lost a lot of weight on the Atkins diet, low carb diet. And so I decided to give that a try. As I've said, I did the the high carb, low fat diet. Tried that in the 90s. And I think that's where I really messed up my metabolism and set myself up to where I am now. I think that's really what got me to my high weight, was what I did to my metabolism in the 90s with the low fat craze. I ate a whole lot of SnackWell's devil food fat-free cookies. Thought those were amazing. I thought I was doing the right thing, just killing boxes of those. Stayed away from red meat and animal fats. And what I ended up doing is I lost my gallbladder over that. I now realize that the low-fat diet that I was on for most of my adult life, starting in the 90s when I was in my 20s, that I ruined my metabolism, and I lost my gallbladder over it, and just continued to gain weight, extreme dieting, losing weight. Back in 2007, I was probably found myself like, I'm not really sure, because I hated the scale. It was never good news to get on it. So I'm guessing that back in 2007, I found myself, I know at one point a nurse had weighed me and I was at 280 pounds, and I was like, well, that can't be right. Like, something's clearly wrong with your scale, because there's no way that I weigh 280 pounds. So I know at some point my weight was at that, but I think in 2007 I'm gonna guess I was probably around the 260s, 250s, and I started on a very strict regimen of 900 to 1200 calories a day, as we ladies do. There's something magical number about that 1200 calories, low fat, and then I was also given the terrible advice that, well, my problem is that I didn't eat breakfast. So your problem is you just need to eat breakfast. Never really eaten breakfast my whole life, so that it started me on a journey of choking down the oatmeal and the raisin bran. I would have raisin bran and put a little bit of fiber on top of it to try to like maximize my fiber. And I ate 6 small meals a day. So my goal was to try to eat 6 small meals all day long, just grazed all day long, eating I would keep my meals to 200 to 300 calories per meal 6 times a day, and then just worked out massive amounts. Like, I would go to the gym every morning, get up, eat my oatmeal, eat my raisin bran, and head to the gym. And I would do at least 2 cardio classes. I would then lift weights, and I would spend at least another hour on the treadmill. And I ended up being very successful. I got down, my lowest weight was 156. I think I weighed 156 pounds for about a minute, and then immediately started to regain the weight. I think I was down to I was squeezing into a size 10. I was feeling really great. But personal circumstances happened. In that situation, I had to change jobs, which then really affected my ability to go to the gym all the time. So I wasn't able to live in the gym as much as I was at that point. I was spending at least 3 hours a day in the gym every day, 7 days a week. And then I was also part of a belly dance troupe. So I was belly dancing 2 to 3 days a week for another 2 to 3 hours. And then on the weekends, sometimes we would do 4 or 5 hours of belly dance. So it was just like massive amounts of exercise on very little calories. And yes, I was able to lose a lot of weight, probably around 100 pounds is what I'm guessing. Again, I'm not really sure what my starting weight was, but I was working out. I had lots of muscle. Like, I consider that probably the best shape of my life. And that was like, I was in my mid to late 30s, and I maintained that and stayed hungry. I was just hungry for 3 years is basically what it was. Anyway, as I mentioned, I had a circumstance change in my job, and so was no longer able to spend that amount of time, had to give up the belly dancing, had to give up going to the gym every day, and the weight just came right back. And then psychologically, as the weight came back, I was still trying to eat, which wasn't a great diet, but I still was choking down the lean cuisines and the low fat ice cream treats, doing all the total garbage food, prepackaged, full of chemicals, trying to drink, trying to play all the games that one does, and very not healthy. But when I stopped exercising, the weight came back immensely, because and then I just gave up on the food. I was like, well, screw it. If I'm gonna gain weight, then I'm gonna eat what I want. So then my eating went bad too, and very quickly gained all of that 100 pounds back and more. And, I would have moments where I would try again to do different diets and different things, and was never quite as successful. I would lose, 30, maybe 40 pounds at the most. It was more like in the 10 or 20 pounds, and then of course gain it right back, because those things just weren't sustainable. But so anyway, early last year, I really decided, like, I saw some pictures of myself that my friends posted online and sent me, and I was like, who is that fat lady? Because she's not looking good. Who is that old fat lady? So that's really what was the motivation. And also, I had a neighbor who, a very sweet lady, who has diabetes and is in a mobility device, and she needs a lot of help, and I'm so happy to help her. Single lady, she's a widow, and I see, like, I was like, if you don't get your stuff together, like, that's going to be you. You're going to be, a great big fat lady in a mobility device that has to rely on the help of others. You're not going to be able to, so happy to help my neighbor and be there for her, but I don't want to be a burden on other people as I grow older. And and I said, like, I want to be able to live my life. I don't want to have to ride it around in a scooter if I can help it. God bless people that, that have that issue. And I'm not trying to shame anyone or anything, but I feel like I can do better. And it's silly some people have diseases and accidents and things that are not, that are beyond their control, where I feel like I can do something about it to prevent it. So based on those things, I started again on a low carb diet. And I also, intermittent fasting had become like kind of a thing. And I knew some friends of mine, some people who were really healthy that practice intermittent fasting. And that got me curious. And I had done, fasting for religious purposes, but also I did them really wrong, because I would play these little games where I wouldn't eat solid food, but I would still like have juice and coffees with sugar and, go to Starbucks or everything. And I called that fasting. I was still consuming calories. It just wasn't consuming solid food. So I'd done those types of fasting for religious purposes, but never for health reasons. So as I looked into fasting, found some good success with that and immediately started getting results. And within a few weeks, I had already dropped like 10 or 15 pounds just from starting to eat one meal a day, giving up the whole breakfast. Like I said, I was told years ago, that's why I was fat, because I ate breakfast. Well, I'm here to tell you that only makes you fatter, at least in my opinion, in my experience. So it was never been a problem for me to not eat breakfast. I never really wanted to. So giving that up was pretty simple. And I tried at first to do 2 meals a day and eat in an 8-hour window, but it was really hard for me to get more than one meal in that 8-hour window just because of my job. And so I just became OMAD really easily and started losing weight with that. So then as I was watching videos on YouTube about fasting, I was watching Dr. Mendy and Dr. Jason Fung, watching their videos. Then the algorithm on YouTube caught up with me, and I started getting some carnivore. And I had heard about the keto diet, and but I wasn't really sure if that was healthy. Like, is that really, I like me some carbs. So it was probably about, looking at my notes here, I think it was probably in May. Wish I'd kept better track of all this, but of course you never know when you're going to be successful. So it failed so many times. I wasn't really taking before pictures or, keeping track of, I didn't measure my body because I have started and failed so many times on weight loss journeys. You never know when it's the one that's actually going to work. So I think it was about in May that I decided to start adding a low carb keto kind of a diet with my fasting. And then through watching the videos and seeing just the amazing, just overwhelmed when these carnivore videos started popping up into my feed, I was like, what is going on with this? This is some crazy stuff. And of course, everyone in the carnivore community, there are just amazing people. I was also just so struck by how many of them are just like people of faith and just good character. And they're just really kind-hearted, wanting to help people. Dr. Ken Berry and Carrie Mann and the Homestead How channel, his whole family, just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could think of all the names of all the people. I'm sure it's Kelly Hogan, all the people that you're watching, too. And it's just like, they're just such amazing people with such incredible stories that you're like, what is going on here? So it was really quickly after that I started trying to just get rid of all the carbs. And I have a friend of mine who is a doctor and a medical doctor, and he does a keto lifestyle, but he is absolutely still to this day absolutely horrified by the fact that I'm only wanting to eat meat. And I would say now I'm probably more of like a dirty carnivore. last year in 2024, I was much stricter for a while, but then again, as life happens, I had some difficulties with my business, and since it started in November, and that kind of knocked me off my stride for a little bit. So I guess I probably should give you some numbers about that. So I was able to go from, again, in beginning of 2024, weighing 305. In November of 2024, I had lost 80 pounds. And then I had to go the building where my business was sold, and so I had to move my whole business, and that just kind of like disrupted everything. And then of course the holidays, and so it's been a struggle in 2025 to really get back on it. So I'd say now that I'm kind of dirty ketovore, carnivore, whatever those words you want to do. And I'm a dirty carnivore, dirty ketovore is what I'm doing now. Mostly meat, and still trying to do a lot of fasting. Sorry, I keep looking down here at my notes when you see me look down. But the lowest I was able to get down to 97 pounds total, which I just want to like smack myself for that. So I'm 3 pounds away from 100, and then you just do dumb things. And so now I'd say today, as I weighed myself, I'm probably down 87 pounds of total loss. So April, I was really trying to lose 20 pounds was my goal for April. Didn't make it. Stupid things happened. Easter, it's always something silly like that. And then this past month, I really thought I was going to be able to lose 20 pounds and get to my first goal weight. And just this past week, I ate ice cream like 2 days ago. Like, why? Went to the store, bought my favorite cherry cordial ice cream. It's my hot fudge sundaes, whipping cream, and just blew it. So, and I didn't blow it. I'm not quitting, but that's why I'm here. I want to get accountability. I feel like if I start making videos, it's going to help hold me accountable. Hopefully I can be encouraging to other people. I'm not perfect. There are some people that seem to be able to stay really good on their diet, and I want to try to do the best I can. This way of eating, I don't want to call it a diet. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm hope that you'll come along with me, see if I can finally lose 100 pounds. And that's my first goal. And then, I think that I'm really open to whatever number we come up with, right? But I would love to get back to, that 156 that I weighed back in, that would have been 2008. I would love to beat that. I would love to actually get to 150 and see if I can actually, get in a size 10 and maybe even get to single digit pants. That would be amazing. I can't even tell you the last time I was probably in a single digit pant. It was probably middle school. So I don't know. So we're talking like the 80s. So, like I said, I'm about to turn 54. So, I want to, lose 50 pounds. Lose 50 pounds more, so that would be, if I could have that 305, more than have, lose 155 pounds and become 150, and then we'll see what I feel like when we get there. So, I'm going to try to start posting regular videos about my journey. I'm going to share some photos. You've probably already seen them. I'm going to share some photos of my different weights as we go through here. We'll see what we're going to talk about, and I just, I'll share my meals, what I eat, what I'm doing. Maybe we'll do some scale photos. I don't know if we'll do some full body photos, but even I will say this though, losing initially the 97 pounds and even at the 86 pounds, I am so happy and pleased by what I've already accomplished. And that's the other thing too. I wanted to talk about like just some of the other health bennies that I've had, the other health benefits. We'll call them bennies. The bennies that I've had, I wrote some down here. It's like I no longer take allergy medication. Like I was on that for years, and the Ricolas, the little Ricolas, those little lozenges. I used to have to keep bags of them with me. I used to just have like little Ziploc baggies of my Ricolas because I would just get into these coughing fits where I thought I wasn't going to be able to breathe. And every morning I would have to wake up and just like cough up half a lung, before that was like my morning ritual. I'd get some tea, drink the hot tea, and then like cough up all the phlegm before I had to go around and be around other people. I don't cough anymore in the morning. Like, it's gone. And I sleep great. My sleep is so much better. I don't snore anymore, you know. It's just, it's crazy. It's so crazy. Like, the benefits are just like adding on, you know. So yeah, no more gas and bloating. Like, I didn't even realize what that would feel like, to not just feel bloated and your stomach's sick all the time. No farting. Like, I haven't farted. I can't even tell you like the last time I farted. And just like, you know, not to get too, you know, TMI, but like the bathroom whole situation is a completely different thing. I barely go to the bathroom anymore, and it doesn't stink. You know what I mean? Like, this is for real. Like, you hear other people talk about this, and I'm here to tell you this is for real. My skin is so much better. Like, you know, even in my 50s and stuff, I would get like breakouts. I started getting like, especially like in the crevices around my nose when I was at my highest weight. Like, I would get this terrible acne that will break out here, completely just gone away. Like, I have all this, you know, those little stickers that you put on your acne. I've got boxes of those because I used to have to use those all the time, and now they're just sitting in my drawer. Like, somebody want some? Like, you know, I don't need them anymore. I can't believe how much better my skin is. Yeah, I mentioned no more snoring, which is awesome. You know, I thought that I was probably on the way to having to, you know, get one of those CPAP machines, which I did not want to do. A sunburn? That really is the one that I was like so skeptical and doubtful of. But last summer and into the early fall, I stopped using, and I'm a light-skinned lady. Like, I normally would not take me very long to go out into the sun, and I would be bright red, sunburned so easily. And it's such a contrast from when I remember being young in the 70s, same skin tone, and I would get tan, and I would be outside all day, and we'd go to the beach, and I would always get a tan. But as I became an adult, like, I couldn't go in the sun for a few seconds, you know, and I'd be burnt, you know, and I was always having to apply sunscreen. Totally gone. And I tested it last summer, in the early fall, I totally stopped using sunblock. And again, that's something that I used to always just have with me in a bag, putting it on all the time because I knew that I was going to burn. And I just the other day, would have been Mother's Day, sat outside by the pool with my mom all day long in the sun, not a lick of sunblock, not a shade, not a hat, didn't sit in full sun. My skin looked, when I was outside, I got a little red from being outside, but it never, as soon as I came in, it never turned into, I didn't even tan. Like, it just seemed to like just not affect me. And then bug spray, same thing. I used to be outside. If I get outside, I would end up with all kinds of bugs biting me, bug bites all over me, and then being itchy. And again, no longer have to use bug spray, no longer have to use sunblock. Just thinking about all those chemicals that I'm no longer putting on my body. That's the other thing too, is like, again, with my skin, now I've started using less products. And I feel like my skin is much better, like, than it's ever been. And I do use some castor oil, hoping that maybe, you know, through the fasting and the castor oil, that's going to help just like with my skin. I know that's going to be a whole nother issue that we're going to have to see what happens down the line. Fingers crossed, we're hopeful, but I want to lose the weight regardless of what my skin looks like. You know, it is what it is. It tells my story. You know what I mean? It's the battle scars that I have from believing the lies that we were told about the standard American diet. It's all been lied. That food pyramid, it's just crazy. Yeah, and just like the brain frog, Yep, the terrible evil brain frog. You know him, hippity hoppity frog. The brain fog. Gosh, when I'm fasting and I get those ketones going, the clarity of mind that I have has just been unbelievable. Like, I think that for most of my adult life, I've walked around in this kind of like half here situation, and that has just really, really changed since getting the crappy food out of my diet. But I'll tell you what, though, the cravings are real. That's what I'm struggling with now. It's been hard. I've been wanting, as I said, through April and May, I was trying to do rolling 90s and 72s. What I was trying to do was just to eat on Wednesdays and Saturdays, one meal. And I was not successful. I was able to do it maybe once or twice. I was able to get some extended fasting in there, but just the cravings have been terrible. And I think it's because I've let like sweeteners and things back in. I've started using, stevia. For a while, I didn't drink coffee at all. And that's where I don't like to just have black coffee. Or I can drink black tea and I'm okay with that. But I wanted to drink coffee again, and then let some artificial sweeteners get in there. And I think that's just really reactivated my sweet tooth, which I am 100% just a total carb addict, sugar addict. That's what I crave. And I do pretty good all day long, but my weak point comes in the evening when I get home from work. I work later in the evenings, so I usually get home like around 8:30, 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock. And like that is my danger zone. Like before I go to bed, like I want to eat, even if it is just like bacon or, whatever. But I really would like to get back on doing extended fasting, and that's my thing. So if I can get myself home and just go to bed, if I make it into the bed, I'm fine. So I'm hopeful that what I've shared with you today that helps somebody out there. Please let me know if you're in a similar situation, or if you have any advice or encouragement for me. Please try to keep the hate minimum. Like, I'm not here for the hate. I realize it's going to happen on YouTube. Yes, I am a fat white lady. You can bring on the hate. There's all kinds of things here you can criticize. I get it. But, I would like my channel to be a place where we could just encourage each other. I think our world is in a desperate situation. There's so many things, but our toxic food and our toxic culture is just, I would just like to be a person that could spread, some hope, some love. There's so many people that are just struggling with their health and mentally, physically. And I am a really strong believer that a low carb, carnivore, keto diet, just getting the processed garbage out of your your diet if you can, staying away from as many chemicals. I'm on this journey because I really think that we can help people. And there's been so many people, friends of mine who have lost beloved family members, and I feel like it's a tragedy because they're things that they didn't have to die, for these cancers and diabetes. Like even my parents right now are struggling. My stepdad, he is struggling really poorly with his health. He's developed diabetes. He's got fatty liver, as does my mother. And they've lost these are people I saw work hard their whole lives, and now they're finally able to retire, and they can't enjoy themselves because they're just sick and can barely walk. And it just, I think we can do better, and we need to help each other and encourage each other. And through YouTube and places like this, through these, grassroots efforts where we just get the word out of our own personal testimonies, our own personal stories of the true, like I have nothing to gain, it's just like, except like the hate that I'm probably going to get about being a fat white lady. So, which it's fair. That is who I am, and, feel, I guess, whatever you got for me. There's probably nothing you can say that I haven't heard before about it, but I'd like to encourage people, and I think we can do it. And I'm so happy that others have stepped out and shared their, often very embarrassing stories. Like I'm going to post some ugly pictures of myself, and photos that I don't like to look at, let alone show other people. But I think that helps people be encouraged that even if you are 305 pounds, you're still beautiful, you're still valuable, you still have life left, and you still have a lot to offer the world. And so I don't know. So if you feel so inclined to like this video and share it and subscribe, and maybe we can become, YouTube buddies and friends and share stories. I'd love to hear about your stories. If you've got any, who's your favorite carnivore channel, ketovore channel, fasting channel? Like put them in the comments below. I'll check them out. If you've seen the fat documentary that's on YouTube, I highly recommend that. I watched that a couple weeks ago, and wow, was that great. So, and I think that there's a sequel, Fat 2, that's out there. I'm going to try to check that out too. Have any of you seen that? All right. So anyway, my name's Jenny. Nice to meet you. Hopefully I'll see you again in another video real soon. Thanks. Bye.